Welcome back. In epic Mercury retrograde style, we're trying some things that are different. Let's test the waters. We're going to have the cards on the screen. That was requested by a fellow subscriber. I'm tweaking a bit using StreamYards. We'll see how it goes. I have pulled your cards and we're going to check into the energy this week. We do also cover the twin flame path via the website. If you do need a booking, you can go to the link directly below. Separately, if you want this content ahead of the crowd by week, we do provide this through YouTube membership. So if you do want to grab these, jump through and grab a subscription. Now we're going to get straight into the read and see some of the channeled energy. Now I do see, especially from your cards, I am seeing in the mix a few changes. Now, the only card I did not allow to be in the non-reversal was the chakra card, and that's because I wanted to see where your energy was at. The rest of the cards are starting off, and they are very in the upright. You do have heart chakra energy as well as the sacral chakra in reverse at the moment. You could be resisting some anger and temptation. You definitely, in your own life at the moment, there's a lot to do with healing. We are recovering from the previous moon. And so a lot of you particularly could be feeling, maybe a bit frustrated. And this is going to be one of those weeks where we're going to have ups and downs. It's going to be absolute breakthroughs and then sudden revelations that there's more work to do. So it can be this recovery time, but we definitely, by mid-month, they're going to feel very different. Now, your chakra card that you do have, not chakra card, crystal, okay? Your crystal. It is easy for me to maintain overall well-being with conscious habits and health. Now, it's interesting that this came up for divine feminine. I feel in your own life at the moment, especially because we do have Venus and Virgo, it is the higher heart chakra. So this card did come up in reverse, but I did put it in the upright because it's something that we're directly working on at this point. And that can be forgiveness. It can be healing. It also can be really opening up where we're open to the potential of the connection coming back. And I feel with the cards, it's really explaining how we're trying to find a way to actually maintain that high vibration, to maintain the belief that new beginnings can happen, to be open to these potentials. But I do feel some of you particularly could have that feeling that you need to protect yourself. There could be a little bit of ego that comes up where we feel that we need to, what would I say? Cast a critical eye on a circumstance. And yes, the devil in the details, natural. There can be this theme, I do feel, particularly with your past. I can see that through the past energy. It's looking as though we were doing a bit of shadow work, okay? So it's taking off the mask. And I feel really in the sense of the past tense position, I feel divine feminine was looking to the past. And, you particularly can find through the sun being in Virgo and, Venus being in Virgo, excuse me, is that we are looking at life realistically. But aren't we, okay? Our perspective, and especially being a psychic medium, a soul coach, continually going through an awakening, you particularly can find that there are portals you go through and a perspective can shift. I feel with this, it's quite funny because it's 11 and it's about getting into harmony, getting into duality, understanding it takes two to tango, that not necessarily your perspective in the twin flame path is directly the totality of their experience, especially we can do a lot of mirror work inside of the twin flame path. Some of you are wanting to express how you feel with the circumstance, but you might have felt it was a little bit risky. And if you were to do that, maybe there was going to be a detrimental outcome to that circumstance. Some of you feel you're tired of dancing around a situation. I'm noticing the ballerina shoes, and it feels that you feel you're dancing around a circumstance. It can also be in your own personal life. You're having to take a brutal look at life, and this might be your career, this could be some circumstance and usually you'll know where this is coming, because it's usually something that's irritating the crap out of you and you're like, God, you know, something's got to give. I've really got to change this. And I feel it's like you've been trying to do this dance around a situation and observing it, but you feel kind of stuck. You're like, this, however, is going to the past position. So I feel as we're moving into this week, we're kind of moving away from the shadow. The predicament you find yourself in is you're ready to level up, okay? That can be with your image, your diet, what you're wanting to do, some drive you have, some expectation you have where it does come to connections point blank zero. We have the nonsense card, and I'm noticing this at the moment, and I'm like, oh, heck, this is going to be interesting, especially karmic third parties. Can't wait to get into theirs. So we have the nonsense card, right? This, to me, is, it's almost like you want the reality. It's like, don't talk crap to me, you know, and this can be towards yourself as well, Dal. So it doesn't have to be your counterpart. For some of you, that's really where you stand. It's like, stop talking schmack. I want to know the deal. Where does this stand? And it's funny because I'm noticing on this, and I've got to remember to turn the opposite way. It feels like a mother energy. And, you know, whenever we have a moon, it's like we're revisiting lineage. And I did say this, not necessarily the way you've been raised was the way they were, but it's almost like that little birdie in your ear. That's not the way you make porridge. You could be literally coming from a perspective and feel this nagging. This also can be spirit talking to you. This can be your guides coming and going, right, you've got to level up. We're going to do this. But I feel this intensity, and it's funny because the red on it symbolizes home and family. There could be something happening at home. There could be, but I feel you're determined that, you know, the projection is the reflection, but I do feel in a circumstantial situation, especially relating to your twin flame path, you're like, look, I don't know what you're thinking of me, Divine Masculine, but what I will say to you is we need to talk sense, okay? Unless I can hear, and you're going to be very, you're going to dissect every word. Mars is in the house of Gemini. You're going to dissect every bloody word. It's time to talk sense. So I do feel some of you this week might come in a bit Mercury, Mars. You know, I heard this. This is what I want. This is what I need. What say you? Might be a little bit nicer as we reach the last week of the month. But at this point, it's very, show me the detail. Put your money where your mouth is. This does come down to options as well. And I do feel Divine Feminines, you're really looking at love. You know, some of you could be dreaming about exes. Some of you could be dreaming about your counterpart. But you want the sweet nothings. You know, that the full moon in Pisces that we had. One way I described it to a client was, in reality, you know, we sort of are looking at realistic things, but we don't want to see that. We want to hear the beautiful story. We want the Neptunian, the Pisces, the dream, which is very true, but both polarities exist. So particularly I feel you want some home truths. You want the vibe of the connection to come into some harmony. And I feel during Mercury retrograde is a perfect time for that to happen. Some of you guys have been really harsh on yourself. You're like, I'm selling myself short. Am I worthy? Am I good enough? I'm noticing a lot of heart chakra coming through. And it's through Divine Feminine's heart chakra, but it's funny that it's off to the side. It's almost like, you know, some of us may be pushing it to the side, not wanting to look at it. But there is that individual kind of thought process if I'm going in a particular direction, which would be best? What path would be best? I did really predict that wave 2 and wave 3 would be going through a mini dark night of the soul. Some of you will be. It just depends on how advanced you are in the path. It's funny because it's usually in the deepest darkness that you find your lightest clarity. You know, it's a little bit like the Star Garden Tarot. And I kind of feel everything serves a purpose. So if it is this kind of wall you're hitting spiritually and you're like, gee, you know, gospelly, I've looked under my armpits, how much more purging do I have? Try and trust the process. Some of it could be that you have a little bit too much attachment and, you know, you're trying to problem solve for the other person. Spiritually, we are both 3D and 5D. So both exist. And we can sometimes become very dense in that reality from a spiritual point of view that things just aren't moving. And so you gospelly think you're going a little bit clinically insane. There's a little bit of shadow here. There's depression for some. But I do feel this strictness with yourself. You're like, right, I want the whole body. I want the, you know, I want my life together. I want love. How do I feel to do with this? But things are pulling you in various directions. I do feel you're going to have pockets through this week, but you're going to have time to reflect. Some of you also, we'll pull into the clarifiers, but we'll get this shortly. I do feel some of you are actually having this temptation energy. Now, the temptation could very much be is that you feel you're very tempted. You're a little bit worried because when you're around your twin, it could very well be that this person does have this chemistry with you. And so therefore you kind of feel, gee, you know, if they come back, you got this inkling, this feeling. Some of you already may have had communication and you're daydreaming about it. You're daydreaming about the conversation piece, the things that were said, maybe some of the thing. And I still feel there's questions, especially for those of you that are in communication, you still have questions. You're trying to digest it. Those of you that aren't, you feel the sense that this is coming in. This is making you a little bit nervous. So funny. Everything that you dreamed, it's like you could have this big questioning. And I don't know why I'm getting twilight kind of energy coming through with this card. I'm noticing it's almost like, you know, the energies behind with the flames, you know, feeling you need to let something go. You know, within your awakening, you'll find there's various stages, and I do feel particularly for divine feminines, especially moving into next month eclipse season, you can feel that you're having an ending. You know, it can really feel like there's a death of the situation when really it's just a rebirth. It's, okay, everything I learned in that cycle, it no longer resonates with me. I've come to terms with these things. I've done the 7 stages of healing. And in your shadow, you could be really fretting that, you know, this is over. And, you know, wanting to maybe move from it. We can at times move into runner mode. I would say don't bother running from your demons because, and I'm really looking at this as demons, because number one is they belong to us, right? They're horrible things that have happened. They're the memories, they're the reflections. It's a heavy cross to bear, but it's also, it can be healed. That's very Aries and Chiron, and there are real benefits this week for that to happen. You know, number one, it's so funny that I said that because we do have the next card and it's 4-4, which is the infinity. It's 8. You can't go back to yesterday. Be in the present. And that, you know, when we're really struggling with a circumstance and wishing we'd taken a left, not a right, the funny thing is Eagle Medicine is actually showing you that, you know, would you want to go back? You've learned a lot. You've grown a lot. You've purged. Do you want to go back and repeat that? You don't have to. Even if those wounds haunt you, by viewing them and visiting them and knowing that you can never relive the same path, right? You can't. Every time you reconnect with your twin, it will be a different subject matter. Unless, of course, both are stagnant, it then will shift regardless. You'll both be forced. You do have luck coming, Giles, okay? This is lady luck. This is not that you're cursed. Healing is part of your blessing as well. Once all that junk is kind of thrown away, you're open to the perspective. The sacral chakra energy is spiking. So the chemistry between both energies here is occurring. I would say also some of you particularly can feel nervous to do with that. It's like, okay, this could be anger. This could be disempowerment. It's more that your power is rising, but it comes through harmony with communication. Finding the right words, listening more, speaking less, requiring that of other people and allowing them. It's 9 spiritually. Go into hermit mode. You might have been needing a little bit of time to reflect. I do feel also some of you are going to get a phone call. I do think this is going to be a celebration. Some of you who are actually having a birthday, it could be a birthday, it might be a party you're going to. Usually when I get this card, it's synchronistic to a physical event or a date. But there is an end date here and there is, you know, some celebration. You do have Lady Luck on your side, but you've got to keep your cool, right? Keep your cool. It's fear that's creeping in. It's not that, I'm telling you, something's going to make you nervous. Even when you guys reach that point that you're moving into communication, your fear base can be, is this going to repeat? Is it going to be okay? It's very normal for that to occur. Go with the flow. Is Mercury retrograde a good time to have communication? Yes, of course it is, because it's directly related to the past. You're revisiting it. You're seeing something from the 7 stages of healing. You're able to heal. You do have power. You're in the power position right now, Giles, which means you can say yes and you can say no, but you definitely can have a lot of healing coming through this. Okay, some of you are feeling this person doesn't value you. I feel this comparison for some of you. We have the value in reverse on top of the temptation. Let me increase this. So on top of the temptation, right, you're feeling as though this person is not valuing you the same way. It can also be when we're kind of mourning that individual and they're not around, and it's like, do they even feel the same way? Am I, you know, loving this person in vain while they're not thinking about me? Okay, I feel spiritually, whatever was holding you back, and I feel it's from the heart chakra, I feel once you release that, I do feel communications coming in, but you're kind of fretting, oh my gosh, you know, some of you, I'm literally looking at you and you can see the phone lighting up and it's like you're avoiding it. And my guides are saying, don't avoid it. There's something on the other side that you need to hear. There's a, you know, it's twin flame path is interesting. I'm not going to bother projecting. You do you. But my guides are saying, if you're guided to avoid, ask yourself the question why, because you can say no in the conversation. You can be very direct. You can be very calm. I still think this person's not going to stop. I do feel they're going to continue to contact, especially for those that do reach communication this week. This person also does have regret. Some of you get funny how that went through. They've wanted to tell you something. I feel something that your counterpart is going to tell you is going to give you some inkling. Something is going to be a wish come true. Some of you are feeling that this person isn't going to heal as fast as maybe you did in a similar perspective. They're saying, no, Lady Luck's on your side. It's actually going your way. They're also saying with your healing, the card where it says at a foundation level, how teachable are you? The thing that you need to understand is, you know, usually, I've said this 100 times, we mirror each other. So when we feel that strictness of, gee, has this person transcended? Are they awake? Are they aware of this connection? Have they transformed? The thing we have to ask ourselves is, but have we? And I think if we have, then the whole dynamic of the connection does, because we won't enable a similar frequency to come in. So therefore your outcome directly, even if they have or haven't, is going to change. So you need to have faith in that. You need to have faith that, you know, some of these things we directly go through are so that we are prepared for that next chapter. And so the next chapter doesn't play out the same way. And I do feel for you, something in your mind hasn't moved quick enough. You know, this transformation has been a very long rebirth. It's a little bit like an elephant with their pregnancy, really, isn't it? Elephants are good luck. Their tribe and orientation. Elephant totem is coming to mind. Feel free to Google it. Can have some sense of symbology. I'd also say psychically, due to the fact that elephant came through, there can be a family-related dynamic for some of you where it does link to the karmic third party, and that can be causing a little bit of concern. You know, for some of you, it could be that this person's married. For some, not all. It's one channeled message. I feel for some of you there's a work colleague either linking to you or counterpart. And I don't know, there's something changing there. Follow your instincts. Follow your instincts with this, but don't believe everything you're hearing. Okay, some penny's going to drop. I feel that you're going to get some information. Somebody's trying to bait you. Don't bite. This can be a friendship group. I'm seeing 3 people here. This could be 3 of your friends. This could be 3 individuals. You're not amused. Like, I'm literally, I'll show you the card. This chick, that's very Australian. This chick makes me laugh. Look at her face. She's like, really? Legit? And the clarifier is even funnier. Okay. So we have no need for you to fit. You're kind of looking at it going, you're trying to bait me. This is 3 people, right? It's 3 individuals. You're not taking the bait. You're passing a test. I do see this week for you. A, I'm seeing communication coming in. B, the challenge is, can you move beyond the wound? It's asking you to open your heart chakra. If you're going through a bit of a purge, or you did during the moon, I'd say moving into this week, it's actually prepared you for what's to come. The chemistry between the 2 of you is going to be off the chart. That can be another problem, especially, well, not a problem. It's quite amusing, really. But I do see people are going to see the chemistry between you, so it's not going to be able to be hidden. What else are they showing me? I do feel some of you have 2 options. Some of you are actually intuitively thinking, hey, do I move forward on a different path? I don't think that's happening, Dales. I actually see this person coming back. The complication between certain groups of you could be how complicated it is. Now, what do I mean by that? Generally speaking, just when we're about to reconcile, another person comes in. So generally it's a spiritual test, but it's for you to sit with what's correct for you. No path's wrong, and it's for you to decide what is for you. Love and light. I will see you next week. If you do want a personal booking, you can go to the link directly below. Otherwise, I will love and leave you.